This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, so let's start. So last class we talked about how to navigate Unix operating system. I hope everybody enjoyed the class, and we learned how to create a virtual machine on using AWS platform. It is a free, but I also understand some of you guys have credit card problem and you cannot install virtual machine there. And so there are, if you want to create your built-in like a permanent virtual machine on your computer, that also very much available. So I'm just quickly go through you, maybe it will not take more than 5 minutes. So if I download the software, there are a lot of virtual software, let's say Oracle. I personally like this one because it is easy compared to other Oracle VirtualBox. So here is the Oracle VirtualBox. So if I download this software and then I'm using Windows host, so if you click this guy, so there is an exe file, it will be downloaded to my system, and then using that system I can easily create a virtual machine. And I just show you. So show the folder. Yeah, so if you now double click this guy, it will normally install and it should not take too much time. So you see the next, you just click next, nothing else to do. Install. So this is the yes, it will install that software to my machine. So this is the virtual software running on the top of a host machine. So the way it works, the virtual machine is a software running on the top of my physical machine, right? So I need a host machine, and so host machine means what? I need like a physical machine where I have CPU, memory, hard drive, this type of resources, and then I install a software like Oracle VirtualBox. I have VMware and other technology. Microsoft also have their own tool called Hyper-V. So the you can use either one. Okay, Hyper-V also very good technology. So either one, using this technology, we can easily create a virtual machine on my laptop. Okay, so this is this machine is, and this is the like a software. Now, if you go to the let's say download, you can download any kind of free a Linux operating system. So let's say nowadays people using Ubuntu a lot. You can say Ubuntu, Oracle Virtual Ubuntu Desktop. If you double click here, and you can see that they have the free type of Ubuntu 20 version 20. So you can click the download version. Okay, so it will download, and again it will take probably it is a big file, so it will take so you can see it is a quite big, you can see here, and it is an ISO image. You can see the ISO image. So difficulties is that if it is an ISO image, I'm not sure that Oracle VirtualBox I can create a virtual machine using this ISO image. If it is, so I have to extract. ISO means it is a kind of a compressed file. I have to extract this file. So let's see. And if you want to follow the Hyper-V technique, by this time I can also show you. If you go to your Windows add oblique remove programs, I believe Windows has the features here. So if you click Windows features, and if you go down somewhere, you should see Microsoft Hyper-V. Let me see where it is. Windows 10 should have Hyper-V. Where it is. So these are the features. Okay, so these are the features. I don't see it here. Maybe it is a role then. Okay, so then cancel it. So you see the Windows 10 has something called Server Manager. Server Manager. Let's see if they have it or not. They should have it. Also, it looks like they don't have it. Hyper-V. So let's say Hyper-V Windows 10. I can.
Windows 10 have Hyper-V in just Hyper-V.
Yeah. Okay. So here is the Hyper-V documentation they have. And let's see in Windows 10 what they're gonna do. Yeah, so they put it Hyper-V on Windows 10 support. So right now the laptop I'm using right now, I'm not sure what version of laptop. I'm using 432. If I imagine, oh my God, I have a home edition. So I'm not sure home edition support Hyper-V. Probably not. Yeah, it has to be professional version. So anyway, I don't need this setting up net activation. Yeah, yeah. I think Hyper-V does not support home edition. I'm not sure. You guys have a look. So anyway, so now I think the ISO image that we are trying to download is almost very
Yeah,
small. It
Hyper-V
is a
don't
big
support.
file. You see, almost 3 GB of file. It is downloaded.
Hyper-V don't support the home for sure.
Not support, right? If you have a Windows 10 Home Edition, probably.
Yeah,
If you
home,
have
home, home.
professional version,
Hyper-V doesn't support
yeah,
home.
the version,
Only the
then
Pro,
it will support.
only the
Yeah,
Pro version.
yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so either way, so the Hyper-V also another good one, as I said, but nowadays when you buy a laptop, most of the laptop operating system home edition and home edition they might not, as it is using ISO image. Let me say I'm going to a software called Magic ISO. So Magic ISO, download. So many software, right? So we need to make the machine ready. Give me one sec. Magic ISO. I love one. This is a very simple software and very good software to extract the data. No, not this one. Magic ISO. Okay, let's try this guy. Magic ISO Maker. So what happened? Let's see. Yeah, it is also downloading. Okay. So now we have a. You see that in my download folder, I have some. Oh, it's not done yet. You see that it is not done yet. So let's wait a little bit because it's not done yet. The downloading part. So Magic ISO already done, so maybe we can start setting up. So right, double click. So remember the software name called Magic ISO. So what I did, I install and VirtualBox. I download Ubuntu. I download Magic ISO, and now I'm going to install Magic ISO. These are the Windows 10 security warning. Next, 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 next. Very simple software. It will not take too much time. Done. So Magic ISO gun done. So now let's see our download for Ubuntu is done or not. Look like Ubuntu is not done yet. Why it takes so much time? So it's not downloaded yet. Okay. Look like it is somewhere it is stuck. So Ubuntu. Oh, it is still going on. You see that it's still downloading. Almost done. Here you go. So now if you go to the download folder, you see the Ubuntu is here. So now using these guys, so what I'm gonna do in my C drive, I create a folder. Let's call Ubuntu. Okay. I'm going to extract the file from here. So what I do, this is the file I download, right? I right click, then Magic ISO extract extract to where? Extract to right. I say okay, extract to your C drive and then Ubuntu folder. Okay. I see that it is now extracting to that Ubuntu folder. So this is just like a, the WinZip, 7-zip type of software, right? That extract ISO image. As it is a big file, it will take probably 2-3 minutes. Okay. While it is downloading or extracting, why don't we go to the server that we have discussed last class? So here our AWS, we go to our AWS console, and here I go to account, management console. I already have an account and my account is Nizam at digitalpoint.tech. Next. And what the heck? Okay, RPD6 RS, I guess. Right? Submit. Password. I did already. Okay. Let's see, I remember my password or not. Here you go. So this is the AWS console. And the people who have no credit card problem, I suggest you guys come here directly. Then you don't need to create. But on the other hand, you'll now learn how to create a virtual machine on the machine on your laptop, right? So it looks is a launch a virtual machine. Over there, I believe we already have some machine. Last class we did. Let me go to here, EC2 instance, and then instances. Hey Priscilla, what happened to you? Priscilla?
Sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now I thought I have some instance over there, but I don't see here. Canada Central, Canada. I want to see that. I believe I have some instance. Look like I don't have any instance. Okay, so why don't you create a launch new machine brand new? So we can do Ubuntu. So let make it Ubuntu way. So if you go to the Ubuntu, you see, so click select. So it will give you choose the free option, like a free tier eligible, 1 CPU, 1 gig of memory. So you see that to create a virtual machine, I don't need too much information. Leave it as it is. Don't the storage, they give you 8 GB of hard drive. Click next. Tag. So normally create a tag, put a name, N capital, give a name, let's say Ubuntu 10.0. Okay, Ubuntu 1. And then next, security configuration. Because we'll be logging this machine remotely using SSH protocol, port number 22, and it is open. So that means this 0000 means anybody in this world can log into this system, anybody, okay, as long as you have a certificate. So now review and launch, and then launch. So you need a certificate. You see the private key. So click create a new private key, give a name, and if you lost this certificate, then there will be trouble. Download and then launch. Okay. So now view an instance. So it will be coming to your machine right now. Correct. Here, Farjat, what you are trying to say?
Sir, we are seeing someone in video. Maybe it's not you.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm seeing a screen with a people. Who is he?
I have no idea what you are talking about. Is it everybody or only you?
I think it is yourself seeing the video, whoever talking. Just one video, one person.
Okay.
Yeah, I can also see one person as the owner. The name is owner with a
No, I
headset.
think it's called Farjad, I guess. Is it? No.
You guys can see my screen and hearing my voice, yes?
Yes, we can see.
Yes,
We
we
can
can.
hear him.
Yeah, so then don't worry anything else. Okay. So now you see this is the public IP and this is the private IP. So this is also telling you that every machine has two IP if it is a custom internet facing server. So if it is internet facing server, that you have a public IP, you have a corresponding private IP. But in the real world, not every server need a public IP, right? Because we really do not want every server has a public IP for the security reason, right? So only the server in the net. If you now think the network point of view, there is something called DMZ. So that means the server which is sitting down in the DMZ, most likely those server has customer facing or internet facing application. So only those type of server need a public IP. But in the real world, rest of the server must be only private. So only private means it can be accessible only internally, not from internet. But as it is our demo server, we are now making this server both public and private because it is a cloud, right? As it is a cloud, without public IP, I cannot log in, you cannot log in. So that's why the way they designed this, they provide you here both public and private IP. So if it is in the real world, we definitely stop the public IP. And then even though if it is a public IP, we need a lot of firewall rules and etc. Here you saw that, yes, it is a public IP, but it is a restriction here. Only port number 22 is open. So even though if you have a application, and you know application means what? HTTP or HTTPS, right? And both HTTP means 80 and HTTPS means 443, and both port is not enabled right now. So this server, you cannot open it from the browser. It will not open. If you type this public IP from the browser, it will not work because we did not open the public IP here. I mean the 80 and 443. So both HTTP and HTTPS will not work. Only one port will you open here. And what is that? SSH. So SSH tunnel will be only open. So now to have the SSH tunnel, we need a software to to configure and to connect to him. So here also I discussed last class with you guys called MOBA, right? MOBA Extreme, and then you can see MOBA Extreme, and these are all free software. Download now, and you have a MOBA Extreme Home Edition. It will be downloaded to your system, and then so it is a again it is a kind of a zip format, as you can see. So if you open the folder, MOBA Extreme, this guy you have to unzip it. So there is extra call. So then this is the MOBA Extreme. So that will so many software you are downloading from internet. You have seen these are compressed, right? As it is compressed, it will not allow you to install without uncompress it. So now click session, SSH, and then put that public IP. And then by default, it is Ubuntu, right? So it's a Ubuntu, username is Ubuntu. And then advanced SSH, use private key. And the private key that I downloaded to my download folder, I guess. Where is my download folder here? It should be somewhere here, isn't it? This PC, download Ubuntu PAM. So this is the PAM file. Click OK. And if everything is sure okay, I should be able to log in. I can see the $sign. So perfectly, I'm able to log into that Unix system for my home machine, right? So that means what you learned from this exercise, that to connect to Unix server, you need a client, SSH client. And there are so many SSH client is available. One of the client is called PuTTY or PuTTY, and then another one called MOBA Extreme. So MOBA Extreme is actually very good in terms of the certificate, because you see that you have noticed when I log into this box, I did not put any password, right? I type username and the certificate. So that means it is also telling you the modern technology, without a password, you can log into a system. And it is much more secure because it is using the certificate thing. So that means this is the private key, and there is a corresponding public key on the Amazon side. And when you try to connect, this private key talk to that public key, and they exchange the handshake, the mechanism, and they have to trust each other, and then they will be able to log in. So that means now from the cyber security point of view, as it is a certificate, and without this certificate, nobody can log in. So it is much more secure than a password. So that means the so-called password type of technology is also going to be end of life very soon. So when you log into your laptop, it will be more about the certificate based login, right? So more, if that means there is a private key public key mechanism between my laptop to whatever application or whatever technology I'm going to log in. If that certificate public key private key both negotiate each other, they handshake each other, they trust each other, and that's it, I can log in. And it will be almost impossible for hacker to compromise this certificate. Okay, so now once I log in here, and then if you click the view, you see there is a zooming, you can zoom the thing so that it will be make it a little bit bigger window for you. Okay, so this is the way that we set up. So now let me see that our other thing that we are trying to do. Yeah, so Ubuntu also, you can see these are also done. So now if I open my virtual machine, look here, if you click the new, and then let's say new Ubuntu, let's say Ubuntu 02, I give a name, Linux version, it is a Linux, Ubuntu 64-bit, right? You can choose that from that drop down button. Click next. How much memory you want? Let's say I want to give him 2048 megabyte, that means 2 gigabyte. Click next. Then create a new virtual hard disk now. Yes, create. And now this is a VDI, VHD. Yes, so I choose the VDI. Let me see. Dynamically allocated size. Now this is how much hard drive you want for this Ubuntu machine. So 10 gig, I think more than enough. Okay. If you want, you can make it bigger or lower. But for now, I think 10 gig is more than enough. So now you can see that machine is created, but there is no operating system yet. So now if you click a start button, it will ask you, hey, where is your operating system? So you see, this is the one. So he says, select the startup disk, empty. So if you click this green button, it will bring you to that. Now I'm not sure. Let's see the ISO image. I can point it out. Ubuntu. So this is the download we did it, right? So this is the ISO image. So let me see and choose start. Look like it recognized that ISO image. Yeah, so you don't need to extract the ISO image. Look like he recognized the ISO image. That's good. So you see that Ubuntu is launching. Very simple and easy, right? So you just highlight the stuff now. It will take at least half an hour, I guess. So it will be ready for our machine. And now it is on your machine, on your own laptop, right? Whenever you need it, you turn it on. Whenever you don't need it, so if you, let's say after the installation, I don't need it, I right click, there is a button called turn, or you can close it and then power off. Then it will be, and then when you need it again power on. So this is another nicer way that you can have this Ubuntu machine on your system. Okay. So both way, now you learn how to create this virtual machine. Now, the navigation point of view, we talk about that to create the file system on a Unix system, we use multiple editor on one of the editor called Vi editor, VI editor, right? So Vi editor is one of the famous editor in Unix technology, and we learned that to create a file using Vi, and there are two mode. One is command mode, one is text mode. So when I create Vi, then file name, by default I'll be the command mode. Then I have to press A or I or O in my keyboard to convert my keyboard from command mode to text mode. Then I type something, whatever I want to type. Then again I have to come back to text mode to command mode by pressing escape button, and then I put :WQ. Okay, so let's do that. So I already have it connected to the MOBA. This is my MOBA, clean the screen. So here, let's say, so now a couple of commands that you have to figure it out first. So when I type pwd, you see that it shows you that you are Ubuntu. Ubuntu is my home directory, and this is under home and it is under root. Okay. So now Vi, let's say I create Vi, and my file name is, let's say, demo1.txt, something. So when I type Vi, you see that it comes like this black window. Press I. Hello. What is that? How are you? Right, and then I'm done. I press escape button, then :WQ. It is done. So very simple way I can create a file using Vi. I can create a file in other way as well. So let's say there's another built-in tool called Nano. Nano, let's say demo2.txt. Look here also I can type the command. This is my file too, right? Then press Ctrl X, I guess, and Y. It's done. So now I create two files. One is file one, demo1 and demo2. One file I create using Vi command, another file I can nano command. There is also another way I can create an empty file, touch, T-O-U-C-H, touch. Let's say demo3, demo3.txt. right? So look here, here you cannot type anything, but it just create a file for you, empty file. Then there is another way I can create a file to redirecting the command output. Let's say I have a command called hostname. When I type the hostname, it will give you the look in the name of your computer. If you type ifconfig, it will give you the IP address of your computer. Oops, he say you do not have that tools here. I'm going to download a little bit later. So these are the commands. So let's say hostname, or if you type date command, it will, if you type, let's say who am I command, these are the very simple basic Unix command. He say you are Ubuntu. So now using this command, I create a file. Let's say hostname, then redirect sign. This is the redirect sign. And now the file name is, let's say, called host.txt. So now I create another file called host.txt. So that means I can create a file with the output of a command. So now if I want to see all those files, if I type ls command, it is showing you, look, you have demo1, demo2, demo3, and host. We created 4 files so far. Okay, I think this is the thing we have done since last class. Now check the permission of the file. Every file has a permission. To check the permission of a file, I type ls space -l. When I press ls space -l, you have noticed that it is showing me this 10 parameter, 10 kind of a parameter here. So if you count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is we have to understand very carefully. R means read, W means write. So by default, there are 3 groups. The first group represent it is the user who create the file. Here I log in as Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is the owner of the file and he has read and write permission. The middle RW dash, it represents the group of the Ubuntu. The Ubuntu belongs to which group? Whatever group Ubuntu belongs to, that group also has read and write permission. And the last 3 digits represent that and other. That means other people in the organization or other people who have access to this Unix system, they have only read permission. This is the default permission of a Unix system. Okay, so now if you want to compare with your Windows file permission, let's say this is the Windows file permission, right? So now if you go to any folder or any file, let's say this Ubuntu folder or file, if you right click this guy and go to the properties and go to the security, see these are the Windows file system permission. And you have noticed by default, everybody like user, the user is a group. So everybody in the organization look like it is others. If you compare with the Unix system. So users has read and execute permission, read and execute. So there is something called execute permission and also read permission. If you look the administrator, administrator has full control. Full control means modify. The member of the administrator can modify the file, write the file, delete the file, everything he can do, right? So interesting thing is that in Windows system, by default, everybody have execute permission. But in Unix system, you see that even the owner doesn't have execute permission, only read and write permission. Okay, so that means there are 3 types of permission: read permission, write permission, and execute permission, right? So as it is a 10 character, the first dash represent it is a group or it is a user. I'm sorry, it is a file or it is a folder. So if it is a dash, that means it represents this demo1.txt is a file. It is not a folder. Okay, let me create a folder here. If I type in mkdir, let's say call folder 1. So mkdir is a command to create a folder. Now if I type ls space -l, you'll see that before folder 1 there is a D, but before all the file there is a dash. So now you can easily understand if anything start with D, that means it is a folder. This permission belongs to a folder and the folder name is folder 1, right? And the file, if anything is started with the dash, that means it is represent a file permission. So out of 10 character, the first character is gone. Minus one dash or minus means it is a file. If it is a D, that it represent it is the permission of a folder or it is the permission of a directory, right? So now rest of the 9 character, if you now classify into 3, RW dash, RW dash, R dash. The first one represent the permission of the owner / user. The middle one, middle group represent the permission of a group, and the last one represent permission of other. So that means we understand by default, when we create a file, by default, user has read and write permission, group also has read and write permission. Okay. So now this is very important, that how to change this permission. So here in Windows system, let's say if you want to go to security again, as you can see that the user does not have write permission. You want to give him write permission. What do? You click edit, highlight the group, and then there is a checkbox. You click this checkbox, click apply, okay, and okay. Right now, this file and the users have write permission as well. But how to do the in Unix system? So let me clear the screen. So in Unix system, if you want to do it, there is a command called chmod. Chmod is this change mode. So now I want to give him, let's say, user, let's say, execute permission. So here user equal to you. You represent user, group represent G, and other represent O. So U means user, group means group, I mean G means group, and O means other. So U plus means give him permission. So give me type a plus sign here. What permission? Let's say execute. X means execute. So read means R, W means write, X means execute. So give user execute permission to which file? demo1.txt. If I now this command, you see now, then if you type ls space -l, you have noticed that demo1.txt has now rwx. Before it was only rw dash. So rwx is telling me that the user has a read, write, and execute permission. But a group has read and write permission, and other also has read permission. So you say, okay, now I do not want give other write permission, and group write permission. So chmod, group means G, and revoke means minus. So you do not, and what permission? Write permission. Which file? demo1.txt. So demo1.txt, right? The file name. Now if you type ls space -l, and you have noticed that now group has only R permission. Before, look, group has RW permission. Now group has only R for demo1, right? Only R permission, R dash dash. So this way we can provide permission, we can also take out permission. Okay. So from this permission point of view, you have noticed there are 3 things. So here, whenever we type, let's say, let me draw a pencil here, RWX. So RWX means what? Read plus write plus execute. If you say something like this, R dash, that means it has read plus write. If you say just only R dash dash, it has only read permission. So now we can easily understand what does this like a alphabetical order, how it works. Okay. So now there is another better way to, and that is called octal method. Octal method means, let's say, if I say I want to give you 7 permission. 7 permission means if you convert 7 into binary, it will be 111. 7 means 111. If you want to convert 7 to binary number, if you have a calculator, you know, everybody type calculator in your computer. You can see this is the calculator, right? and then go to the standard, go to the programming, I guess. Here you go. Now if you press 7, look, it says 7 means 1111, right? So this is the 7 means 111. So what does it mean? That means here 1 means it is on. So read is on, plus write also on, plus X also on. That means all are on. That means if I give 7 permission means that I'm giving read, write, and execute permission. On the other hand, if you type 6, now write the calculator here. So make it clear. It's a 6. 6 means 110. So 110. So what does it mean? The first one is read, plus second one is write, and 0 means there is no other permission. That means you are giving read and write permission. So if I tell something, okay, I'll give you the 6 permission, that means I'm giving you read and write permission. So if I put only like a number 4, it is named. So now go to the calculator, just type number 4. You see 100, 100. So which is on? Only read is on. Write is 0, executive is 0. So that means I'm giving somebody only read permission. So this is another octal format to provide the permission. Let me show you. So if I go here, where is my Ubuntu? So let's say I type chmod 764 demo2. So look here, this is the demo2.txt. So we are now changing the permission of demo2. So I'm telling here 6764. What does it mean? The first one 7. That means I'm giving or I'm providing 7 permission to the user. 7 means what? Read, write, and execute. Then I'm providing 6 permission to the group. Middle one represent the group, and 6 means read and write. And then I'm giving R permission to other, like a 4 permission to other. That means only read permission to other. So now if you press enter and now type ls space -l, look what he's showing you. That means what? The second one, right? Look, user has RWX, that means 7. Group has 6, RW dash, and other has 4, R dash dash. Okay, let me try again. So now instead of 764, why don't we do like this way? Let's say give everybody 777. Okay, 777. Now watch, and now type ls space -l. Now demo2 file, you have noticed that everybody, look, user has RWX permission, group also has RWX permission, other also has RWX permission. Everybody have all the permissions. So 7 means read plus write plus execute. Okay, let me try again. So now if I change the permission, let's say instead of 777, let's say 444. Oops. 644. Let's say this way, 644. Now ls space -l, look here. Oops. Now you see the demo2, so 4 6, right? That means 6 means read and write. So I'm giving user read and write, and then group 4 permission, only read permission, and other also 4 permission, only read permission. You see how cool it is. So this is the way we can change the permission using the octal model, and we can change in one shot, in one command, all user, group, and other. So instead of u plus x or u minus x, it is also works, but it is not a best practice. The best practice, people follow this octal method, and that is the numbering method. So how that this numbering works, we already. So remember this thing, that 7 means read, all are on. So it is a binary format, 111. That means read, write, and execute is on. 6 means 110. That means, so this, the left side represent read, middle one write, and right side is execute. Okay, so this way you need some practice, and then you see that how file navigation works here. Okay, so let's move on now. So these are So now let's talk the next step, that in Unix system, you can usually create user, you can create usually groups, all those stuff. In many cases, we need to do these things, especially in the DevOps model, machine learning model that I keep telling again and again. We have to use this type of technology a lot. So now we learn the file navigation, how to create a folder, how to create a file, how to open that file, how to delete a file, how to copy a file from one location to another location, right, etc. This is called file navigation. Okay. Now let's want some more administrative works. I want to create a user. So here, again, if you come here, let me clear this guy. So I want to create a user. As it is an administrative command, I cannot type this command from this $sign. I have to convert myself as an administrator. So how to convert myself as admin? Sudo space -s. When I type sudo super user sudoer, and then you see that my $sign become now £. That means now I am an administrator. So now as I become administrator, I can easily create an account. So let's say user add, let's say Nizam. Nizam, right? Now Nizam has done. Now I want to create his, every user has a password as well. So now type user password Nizam. Now you have noticed that password I type PASSWD is not like a regular spelling PASSWD, only PASW. That's the Unix naming convention. When I type this thing, it will be asking me the password. So I type, let's say ABCD. Now password is correct. So now I have created a user called Nizam. I also create provide his password. So now question is that, where is this user? In Windows system, if you have there is an utility in Windows, computer management. So how to open a computer management? You can easily shortcut compmgmt.msc. This is the command to open the computer management for you. But again, as it is your home edition, they will not allow you to create a user here. But if you have a professional version, you'll see there is a option called users and computers. So I can easily create a user, I can create a group here. But this laptop actually is a home edition, I cannot show you. Okay, but home edition, professional edition have it. So now, by default, when you create a user and computer, users and groups, it will be under computer management location, or in the real world, we call something called Active Directory, right? So if I have an Active Directory, let's say if I join a company today, the Windows administrator or network administrator will create an account for me in the Active Directory. And using that ID and password, I can log into my laptop, I can log into wherever server I have permission to log in, correct? So in Unix, when I create, let's say right now you saw that there is a user ID and password is there, but where is the location? So in Unix system, so under Unix system, there is an ID called, by default, there is a file called etc password. So now I open that cat etc password. If I type this command, and you have noticed that it show me that Nizam is here. You see that Nizam X 1001 1001 home Nizam blah blah blah. You have noticed, right? So that means this is the location where password file is there. So always remember, this is very important file. What is the name of the file? So Unix file system, it is called etc then password, PA lowercase, PAWS double D, PASSWD password. This is a very important file. Any interview they will ask you this question. And there is another file where it keep the password, etc/shadow. So there are two files we have to memorize. One is password file, one is shadow file. Both are file, and both file is located under etc folder and etc under root folder, right? So now if I now go here, clear. Oops. So now if I type cat etc, oops, etc slash password, password. Now you have noticed that it shows me the all the user account here. And now I created Nizam, but you see the middle one put X. X means it doesn't telling me what is the password. Now to see the password, I have to go to the cat etc shadow. So shadow is another file where the password is sitting down. If I open the shadow, now you see the Nizam, look Nizam, and the password is encrypted. You see, I see the password, but I cannot understand what is the password. Okay, what does it mean? It is telling you that under any operating system, it can be Windows, it can be Unix, the password, when you type the password in a plain text, but in the background, operating system remember this password as an encrypted format, hash format. You will not understand, nobody will understand what does it mean, right? So that means there is no plain text password. It will be as a kind of a hashing algorithm, like a mathematical hashing algorithm. It is encrypted format. Okay. So now, even though it is encrypted, in the cybersecurity point of view, like a hacker easily can decrypt this file. So they know the technique how to decrypt this hash password. Okay. So that means you learn right now that by default in Unix operating system, when we create a user, there is a two file involved here. One file called password, another file called shadow, and both file is under etc folder and etc under root folder, right? So that's why we type the command like this, clear. We type the command like this, that cat is the command to open a file. So that file is called shadow, but shadow is under etc and etc under root. Right? If you just type shadow, it will not work. Right? That's the thing. Because you have to tell him the full path. And the full path, you are telling computer, okay, go to the root first, and then go to the etc folder, then go to the shadow. Then it will open. Correct? So this is the Unix path and naming convention. So now you learn how to create a file system in a Unix system. So here in this slide, everything is written here. Now, so we learned how to create a user. What about to create a group? Right? So now you see that I can easily create a group called group add. Over there, we type the command called user add. Here I can create a user called group add. Okay. So same thing. So now you type command sudo group add. This group add name is called DevOps. I have a team called DevOps. I create a groups called DevOps. Groups with them. So now question is that where are my other groups? So if you type cat etc groups, I think there is a group group group. Yeah. So now if you type this group command etc group, so that means there is another file called group, and that group also under etc folder, etc under root folder. Now you can see Nizam is there, DevOps. Look, Nizam, the DevOps that I created, it is here, right? So that means the DevOps. So now I want to add Nizam under that group. How to do that? So now the command is here, that user mod. I'm changing Nizam right now. -a -g, then the group name and the username. Okay, so let's try. Clear user mod. So it will be mod modification, right? -ag, oops, -a. I think there will be like this, and then DevOps is the group name and the username is Nizam. Let's see it works. Here you go. So I'm adding a user under a group. So these are all administrative work, right? If you become a, let's say, now think the use case. Let's say if I am a DevOps engineer and I have to create these people. Okay, in my team, there is a DevOps team. There are 20 people, right? I say, okay, I create a group called DevOps, and then all the people I created, and I add them under this group. Okay. And if I am think the cybersecurity point of view, let's say I'm a cybersecurity officer, so then I can ask like, hey, you have a server called server one. Show me how many people under this group and who are this guy. Why you give him this much permission? So you have, because from the security point of view, with something we call least privilege principle, right? Least principle. So least privilege principle, then that means, what does it mean? That means you have to give him only the permission it is required. He is a developer, he need only read permission. Why you give him read and write permission, right? A person, maybe he's only other. Let's say you can see by default, other has read permission. You see that whenever you create a file, right? By default. So you can challenge them now. He say, hey, why other people need, what the business other here? You give him maybe user permission. You maybe give him group because he's part of DevOps team. The DevOps is a group. Maybe, yeah, it is logical to give the group as well permission, maybe. But what other? What are the business other people here? If other people has permission, then you should create another group and add those people under that group and give them that permission. So that means there should not be any default other group. It is equivalent to everyone, right? In Windows also have this problem. Look, in Windows also have same problem. Whenever you create a file in Windows system, go to, let me see which folder has some file. Here it is, right? So if I now right click and go to properties, if I want to share this file, oh, you see the home edition doesn't show up this thing. Yeah. So there is another permission thing here. Look, read and execute. By default, everybody. So I do not want this user folder. I click edit. I remove this guy. I do not want other people has any level of permission. Okay, so I have to remove it and then add other, like whoever needed. So this is called least privilege principle, that I do not want any permission that it is not required, right? So this is the summary of the cybersecurity. So in both cases, you need this thing. Yes, maybe in the real world, you don't need to create a user, create a group, or add the people to that group, but you do the assessment, right? You do the check, right? You are a police officer. Hey, show me how many users are there, how many groups are there, why you give him read, write, and execute permission. So if you do not understand what does it mean, RWX, RW, then how come you assess? So that's the thing. It doesn't matter who are you, what is your job role. Every matters. You need this type of technology to understand and then develop your skill accordingly. Correct? Okay, let's move on. So now we learn about how to create a group, how to test that there is a default group. So far we learned there are three files is very important. One is password, one is shadow, one is group. Both are, all three of them under etc folder. etc is under root folder. Okay. Okay, so now let's take our, and there are some more command here. One of the command called id command. So id command normally give you the information about that particular. So if you just type id here, you see that now you say, right now I log in as Ubuntu, right? As Ubuntu is a root. So he say you are belongs to root user ID equal to 0, group ID equal to 0. You see, and then so that means as I log in as a right now my this thing you can see that pound sign, that means I'm an administrator. Administrator means root. So whenever you log in, type ID, it will tell you what type of permission you have, and you are belongs to which group, which association you have. Everything it will show you when you type the id command. Very nice command, id command. Okay, so this way you can also change group command. You can also change the in ownership. That means I want to change the owner from one people to another people. Let's say right now, the file is created by Nizam, but after 6 months, Nizam left the company, but he is still owner of the file. So instead of Nizam, now you want to change the permission ownership of this file to, let's say, to Mike. So what is the command? chown, change ownership, and the new file, new guy, whoever the, let's say in this case it is Mike, which folder or which file? Lab1 or demo1. So now you can see that change group, I can change the group from one location like a lab1 to lab2. I can also change the ownership of a group from one person to another person. So have a practice those things. Then another command in Unix very heavily used called filtering or piping. So filtering and piping, it is one of my favorite command. It is we call like a database query. So the database is like a collection of organized data. If you have thousands of millions of data sitting down somewhere, it is called database, right? So now I want to get only specific data. Let's say I can say, okay, my table name is like equal to customer. If I say select star from customer, it will give you all data. But if you want to specific, the select star from customer where customer location equal to New York. So now it will give you only data which is belongs to New York. The customer, their address equal to New York, right? So this is called filtering query. So this is filtering mechanism we use a lot. So same thing in Unix point of view. I don't want to see everything. I want to filter something, right? And this is in Unix point we call piping. Piping and filtering is the same thing. So what is the command here? In your keyboard, last class I showed you all the keyboard structure. There is a vertical bar just on the top of keyboard. That is called piping. So piping will like narrow down your query. So then it will give you one command, output will be the input of the second command. So basically we'll be using two commands here. So let me show you what I'm trying to show you. So let's say I type cat etc password, right? So this command will show you everything. So you do not want to see everything. You want to see, so let's just specific something. So to do this thing, it's okay, cat etc password, then pipe, then I type another command. I say grab. Grab is another command to grab something. Let's say grab Nizam. If Nizam is there in the password file, it should grab only Nizam. Look, it shows you only Nizam. So that means what? Here cat is one command, grab also another command. So what is happening in the in the background, technological point of view? So when you type the cat command, you are telling computer, hey cat, show me the etc password, right? This command output goes to the map. So he execute the command, whatever the data he found, he put in the memory, he put it, let's say there is a basket, let's say keep it here. So output goes there and keep it here. Then you have another command called grab. So now grab command come here and grab say, hey, because in his parameter he say, okay, grab, where is the parameter I supply? Nizam. Okay, now you tell me Nizam is here or not. If Nizam is found here, he now show you only that information. So it is almost equivalent to same command that before I say select stuff from customer, where I use the word called where, right? Where customer name equal to Nizam. Exactly the same thing. So that means this is called piping. The output of the first command here, our first command is cat, will be the input of the second command. Right? So the second command goes, because output command he has to hold somewhere. And as you know, the memory is the holder, right? It can hold any information for us temporarily. So output of the cat command goes in the memory somewhere. Let's say it is a container. And then grab command goes there. Hey, I'm looking for Nizam. Show me Nizam. So from there, thousands or millions of data, he said pick out. If Nizam is there, he pick up and he show you only that data. and that exactly happening here. So this is a very powerful command in Unix, and I believe we use a lot. In more and more you go, you'll see that this is the one of the most used command in Unix system. Then WC command. WC means word count. Very nice command. I can say, okay, show me how many word in this file. Show me how many character in this. So C means count. L means line. W means word. How many word in this file? So this is another, sometimes we use, is not that heavily used. Let's say I want to see cat etc password. Then I said pipe WC space minus L. I want to see, okay, hey, how many number of lines in that password file? We said 35. That means there are 35 lines in this password file. If I say WC W, that means how many word is there? He said 49 words. I don't know it is correct or not. It look like it is not correct. It should be more than that, right? Yeah. So like that. So that means WC also another nice command, word count, but there are at least 3 parameters. Minus L means number of lines, minus W means number of word, and then minus C means number of character. Okay, let's move on. Then there is another nice command called cut command. Very nice command, cut. You see that if you open the notepad, even the any Microsoft technology, you see that if you go to the edit file, somewhere you see the copy and cut paste. You see the cut and paste. So cut here we say kind of a move, right? Okay, you cut it from here and paste it there, correct? Something like that. But here it does little bit better way. So for example, I type date command. Let's say as an example, I type date command, and it shows me the output of the date, correct? So I say I do not want to see everything. I want to see only the first character, first, second, and third character. So now I type the date, then pipe, again pipe come into picture. Then I put cut. Cut what? Cut minus C 1 2 3. Show me character 1 2 3. Now you see that it shows you only some. That means it, again, as I use the pipe, so what happened? The output of the date command will be the input of the second command. So here for output is the date, and then cut command go there. So say, hey, I want to cut character. C means character 1 2 3. He cut only that character. Okay, so again, sometimes we need this thing, not always we use, but very handy type of command, and that's why Unix is so powerful. So people love it. At the very beginning, people afraid of learning Unix, but once you practice this thing, you will be a fan of Unix. And in the real world, all IT people are loving Unix. They are very fan of this Unix. Okay, let's move on. Then we have a grab command. I already show you that grab means it can grab something from that file system. Okay, so let's skip that. Then next command, the find command. So find command is another interesting command. It is really very interesting. It can find something from this string. Let me show you in the command prompt point of view. So if I go to the command prompt like a DOS, this is Windows, right? So if you type system info, I think there is a nice command called system info. System info. If you press this command, it will give you all the information about computer. You see that. It will give you the computer name, host name, OS name, manufacturer name. Then if you go to your processor information, it also give you how much memory I have, total physical memory, all those information. So now we can so DOS also has the similar find command. Let's say if I say find command, then pipe find what? Find, let's say, total physical the spelling correct, physical, right? Physical MEMORY. Make sure that the spelling is correct. So now you see that I pipe T capital P capital memory. Why? Because I have to make sure the parameter is matching, because here you see that they also kept T capital, P capital, and after memory there is a colon here. So that's why I am also using same thing. So I'm telling computer, okay, the same thing. Look, system info is one command, find is another command. So output of the first command goes to the memory, then find command goes there. Hey, can you find out this parameter is matching something? Right? So press enter. And you see that it only shows you total physical memory. Very nice, right? So this is a very nice command that we use both in Unix and Windows system. But in Unix, one of the find command actually we use, one of the main reason I'm going to show you right now. That is, let's say this way. I have one today, this is the transaction file. This is the banking mainframe system. Today, there are, let's say 1 million customer, or let's say 100,000 customer did the transaction. And they are all file has to be modified to the mainframe system or a Unix system. So I have to change the permission, all those files, all the file permission I have to change it. So, and there are 1,000 files. So to change this 1,000 file, I have to make it more automation point of view, right? So find command really help us to do this change. Look here. So if you go here, look, I say find, look here, find space dot, dot means current directory where I am, minus name equal to, I say find out any file called start.txt. So that means in my current directory, if you find any txt file, then what do you do? Then you change the execute, that means execute by ch command, give him u plus x permission, and then run it again and again. That's why I put this quotation mark here. And then there is a slash, then semicolon. So if you run this command, let me copy because I can't remember this thing. So if you copy this thing, okay, so now it said, let me run it again. So now if I run it, so what I'm going to, everybody have u plus x per, that means user has execute permission, correct? Everybody, all txt file. So in my current directory, remember I have a demo 1, demo 2, there's something 4 or 5 of them, right? Now if you type ls space minus l, look, everybody has now read write. So demo 1 also to change, demo 2 also has execute, then demo 3 also, I mean the host and also demo 3, all permission has changed in under one command. So find current directory, dot means current directory, name equal to all the txt file, start.txt means all txt. It can be 1,000, it can be 5,000, it can be whatever, I don't care. So in the real world, I saw people using this thing a lot. When people has thousands of file, they want to change the permission, especially banking type of application, like a whole day today, 100,000 customer change their transaction, and I want to change this something. Let's say I want to put those data to the Unix system, and but before that I have to change the permission. So what to do, right? So this is the nice command, find to current directory or whatever directory you have, all the txt file. Maybe in this case I use txt, maybe over there will be something else file format, and then execute what? Chmod u plus, u means user, give user, x permission means execute permission, right? And then we use curly bracket within the quotation mark, meaning is that looping it, because file number 1 change the permission, then go to file number 2, change the permission, then so that means this is kind of a for loop. So this for loop we are putting their curly bracket. This is the Unix syntax, very like a very high level command, but very useful command. Okay, and now you see this is the power of Unix. So now all 1,000 file, all 100,000 file under one command, they will be changing the permission. Okay, so this is the beauty of the find command. Let's move on. Then we have tar command, another very useful command, especially in the people who are learning DevOps or going to be learn DevOps. For them, this is very nice command. That I download a file, now I have to extract. You see that right now we have to download or we have to extract the file, right? so many file needs to be extracted. So how to extract? So there is a command called tar command, tar, tar. So cvvf means it is compressed. I want to create a tar file from my whatever file I want to come. That means let's say I have 20 files. I want to create a zip. In Windows, what do? You right click all these 20 files, then add to zip, right? And then you give a file name, and that's the zip file. Let's say I have a 1000 file and I want to send this file to my manager, but I cannot send this 1000 file. It will not be like a best practice. So instead, what I do, I compress all those files, 1000 file into one file, a kind of a zip file. And then I send that one file to my manager. And when my manager receives that one file, then he have to extract the file. And then under that, we see a lot of files, correct? And that's the thing you have noticed in many cases. So here also we can practice this thing. Let's say I download something from internet. You see that right now we download few items on the Windows system, and you see that most of them is compressed or it is a zip format. And Windows has a built-in utility. That's why we right-click call extract, and there is an option called extract. But Unix, you have to extract manually. So what to do? So let's say this scenario. I download something from internet. So let's go to the internet. So now to download, let's say what to download. Let's say I download what? Download, let's say Tomcat. Let's say Tomcat. Okay, so Tomcat, I want to download something from internet. So go to Tomcat website, and you can see they have a download option. So many version of Tomcat you can see. So now, if you go down, you see there is a zip format, there is a tar format. You see, so this is the tar. So if you right-click this guy, and there is a call copy link address. You see, copy link address. So if I can copy link address, now I want to download to my Unix system. I want to download it here, that file. Okay, so what to do? So to download, there is a lot of utility Unix has it. One utility called wget, another utility called ftp. And so there are so many, this type of software is available. So let's say wget. I think wget is already there. Let's see. If you just type wget, let's see. Yeah, wget is the, so he said missing URL. That means you have to give him the option. So if I type wget and then I right click, my paste that URL. This is my URL. So I type wget and that file that I want to download. And look here at the band, it is a tar.gz, right? So if I now press enter, you see that it is downloaded. Okay. Now if you press ls, now you see that this file is here. So this is some sort of Tomcat server or Tomcat software I just downloaded. So now you learn in Unix system, if you want to download something from the internet, how to do that. What is the utility? wget. I think this is the easiest one. There are many other ways, but it is the easiest way. Wget and find out the URL. Where is the URL? So in this case, we can go to their website and then see, okay, what the instruction they have. In this case, I choose Apache Tomcat. And then you see that there is a tar.gz. I right click, open copy link address. So I can copy this, then I'm using the wget utility. I'm asking him, okay, you download it. Now, as it is downloaded, I want to extract it. So to extract it, you see the command is tr minus xvvf. X means extract, C means compress. Okay, so let me do that. Clear the screen. So my ls again. So I can copy the whole path. You don't need to type it. So now I type tar, right, minus xvvf, space, enter, paste this guy. Look, this is extracted within a second. Type ls, all the file. Now you see that it create a folder for you like this, right? And then you go to cd, go to that folder. This is the real world practical example. Type ls. Look, all the Tomcat related file I can see now. Notice, blah blah blah, bean, web apps, work, logs, etc. These are all content of that Tomcat application. Okay, so now practically you learn that how to download a software, and it is a zip format, how to extract it. Okay, similar way, if I want to compress it, I can say, okay, which file I want to compress, and then, so in this case, let's say I'm right now, go to here, so go to your Ubuntu folder. So now let's say I have demo 1, demo 2, demo 3. I have a couple of text files, right? So I type tar minus cvbf demo dot tar, then start.txt. That means all the txt file, you compress it as it and give him a name called demo.tar. Done. So now type els. Now you see there is a file I have created called demo. What is demo.here? This tar. So now I can send this file to somebody else or some other server as a demo. But now demo.tar file contains all those text files. So I can compress it, I can uncompress it. Correct. So this way, if you now go to the next command, the net start command. These are kind of a like a networking point of view. These are showing me the network statistics and the hostname command. So I already talked to you guys hostname command. If you type hostname command, it will give you the name of the host. And then if you type uname, another nice command, uname space -n, -a, -m, -a. So look here. If you go here, let me clear the screen. So now I'm typing some command. It is related to the networking point of view. Okay. So type hostname. Look, this when I say hostname, look, this is not a really good name, right? Very ugly name. Something IP blah blah. So I want to give him a good name. Hostname, give a name. Let's say it is called Ubuntu. Ubuntu 01. Now if you type hostname, it's now called Ubuntu 01, right? So I can change the name of a host if I want to. Then let's say I type the uname space -a. So when I type uname space -a, sometimes it is a confusion. Hey, it is my Ubuntu or it is what type of operating system it is. In Windows, we type msinfo32. Remember that msinfo32 is a very nice command to give you all the summary about that computer. What type of operating system it is, what is the version, what is the build, and what type of CPU you have, how many core you have, how many memory you have, etc. So what about Unix? How come I know that Unix system is built in what? Uname space -a. Look, you see it is a Linux. The name of the machine called Ubuntu 01, and this is the version of the Linux. And it is coming from AWS, right? And SMT, it is Ubuntu, blah, 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 some information about Ubuntu. Okay. There are some other options. Let's say type M. If I type M, so it say what type of version. It is a 64-bit, remember? And press I. So there are multiple options here. I think the same thing. So I think uname -a is a good one. Okay, uname space -a. So that means if you want to know the details about that system, uname space -a is a good option for you. Okay. Then next command we like a IP config, like in Windows, like if you open a DOS command, if it is okay, what is the IP? IP config. You type IP config /all. This is a very famous command. It will tell you the computer name, his IP address. Look, if you type IP config, it tells you what is the name of your computer. Then it also tell you that IP address. In this case, this is the IP address. It also shows you the DNS information, the NetBIOS information, then the default gateway. What is the default gateway of this system? So everything is showing you. Very nice. Then what about in Unix system? How come we know all those things? So if I type ifconfig is a very nice. So instead you see that command is ifconfig. If I type ifconfig, this tool is not here. So now as it is Ubuntu server, they say this tool is not there. To install a tool, you need to download a tool. So how to download a tool? Let's say I need some tool. It is missing in my system. As it is Ubuntu, so I say apt install. So command is apt install. What tool? Net tools. There is a tool called net-tools. When I install this thing, look, it will be installing to my system very quickly. So now you learn that if it is Ubuntu, how to download a tool that anything that you're missing. Let's say that command not found or tools not found, how to install that tools on your system. Okay. Look like it is downloading right now. Yeah, here you go, done. Once it is done, now I type ifconfig. Let's see what happened. Now it works, right? Before you say no. Now when I type ifconfig, look exactly what you saw in the DOS command. Almost similar thing is showing you here. IP address is this. Look, this is my private IP, 2685. If you want to validate, go to your. Did I close that button? Oh, my Amazon one. Amazon website, my account. I don't want to log in again. Hopefully it remember my console here. So you see, it remembered that I'm there. So now instance. So you see, this is my instance. It is running. If I click here, and that's look 172.30.126.85. Correct. This is the private IP, and that exactly is showing me here that 172.31.26.85. Okay. So these are the different kind of IP address that is, and the net mask is this, broadcast is this. So if someone already know about this networking stuff, this will helpful for you. Okay. So there's two. So now ifconfig in Unix is a ifconfig. Very nice command, ifconfig. If you type ifconfig a, then it also giving the all details. Ifconfig a, let's say there is a parameter ifconfig a. It will give you the all the Ethernet card information. Okay, then ping command. So ping command is a very nice command. So ping means I want to check that you are alive or not. So let's say there is a server and I do not know that server is alive or not. So I type ping, I'm sending a ping to him and I give the IP address. So let's say in this case, I use the same IP here, 26.85. Now you can see that I'm getting reply, and you see that I'm getting reply to him. That means it is alive, it is replying me back. So this is a nice command. If you type ping, let's say google.com, look, Google is replying to you. Okay. So this is a very nice command that yes, and so it is a kind of a trip down. Look, TTL 110 time 15.8 millisecond. So that means to go my server to Google server, it go there and coming back like a ping pong ball. You know that there is a ball called ping pong. If you throw the ball, it will come back again to you. Correct? So similar idea. So and then to do this travel, it takes 15.8 millisecond. Right? So now this is also telling me that yes, I'm getting reply, but also I'm also sending it, also telling me how much time it took to go there and coming back. Right? You can see very nice comment. So ping comment. Now, so you have noticed when you ping this guy, he's telling you something like this. INET, something like that. You can see you really do not see the proper IP address here. Let me see. I can see ping -4. Sometimes it shows you IP version 6 information. Oh, sorry, ping -4. So this is the really very helpful command. If you put ping -4 google.com, it will give you the IP version 4 IP address. Then if you type ping -6, then it will give you the IP version 6 IP address. Oh, the Google doesn't have it. Okay, so forget it. There's some server has both IP version 4 and IP version 6, and that will give you the. So this is the thing. Okay. Then you can top command. Top command also is a very nice command in Unix system. Let me see. If you type top command, it will give you the like a kind of a process. How many processes running, what is their PID number, what is the user, how much memory it is utilized. Very nice. It is in DOS. If you open the task manager, task mgr, almost similar thing. If you open the task manager in your Windows system, go to the process. Look here, it also shows you these are the software running in my machine. Let's say go to training. It's telling right now CPU 15.2% it occupied. It occupied 173.7 megabyte memory from my computer, etc. So I can easily see that who is consuming more memory, more CPU in my system. If I want to, let's say sometimes you see that your computer getting very slow, and then you want to kill that guy. What do? Let's say I want to kill Paint. I right click, end task. Paint is gone. So from here, I want to shut down that application. It is needed in the real world. Sometimes your computer getting slow, so you do not want to reboot the machine. You want to find out who is that guy. So this is the nice place to see that. In Unix system, top command. Top command will tell you who is using what. Look, there is a column called CPU, correct? You can see that right on this time. Okay. Then second, so if you press Control X, it will Control X or Control Z, I think. Yeah, press Control Z, it will stop the thing, clear the screen. Now another nice command, uptime. Let's say uptime. When you type uptime, it will tell you that this system, how many hours it is up and running. Look, it is telling me 1 hour 15 minutes. That means we run this machine 1 hour 15 minutes. One user logged into the system. Blah, blah. So very nice command, right? Because right now, let's say for the troubleshooting system, okay, how long this system was uptime? In the real world, you'll see 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. This system never rebooted, right? So uptime is another nice command to show you the whatever the last time it was rebooted. Okay. Then again, who command will give you this, who am I, and then W command. These are all similar way that who log into the system, who are they, what time, and from which system, etc. So these are all Unix like a handle. The process I check PS, stop, kill. Now SSH command we already talked. The SSH using the PuTTY or using this mover, you can log into the Unix system. And then the file transfer protocol, we already use the wget. So wget and the whatever the information we can use, or you can use an FTP, SFTP. So I'll show you today. I don't have time, but next class I'll show you FTP and SFTP, how using this protocol, how we can transfer the file from a FTP server or download a file from the FTP server. So we can send a file to outside any server, or we can download any file from the FTP server. Okay. So hopefully this is all about. Hopefully you enjoyed, and but again, I don't know how much you are practicing. I hope you are doing. So let me see now. This guy is running. Remember we are trying. Oh, it was stuck here, right? So I have to build the machine now. I thought so. Click install. Yeah. So you guys now learn how to do that, right? Just follow next. US English. Continue. This is the build. So people who have credit card problem that you cannot install the machine on the Ubuntu, like in the AWS platform, make sure that you follow this step. And don't forget, when you come up here, right? Let's say I build this machine, click this guy. There is a checkbox. and then instance and stop instance. Click stop. So what will happen? And just wait maybe 1 minute here. Make sure it is a stop. You don't need to kill the machine. Just stopping is fine. So let's say it is stopping. Refresh. Still, you look stopping. It's not stopped yet. Yeah, it's still stopping. It will take probably 1 minute altogether. It's still stopping. And so now my mobile will not work. Mobile already killed. You see, mobile is gone because the machine is gone, right? So then I go back to the machine. Now refresh. I think by this time it will be. Oh, it is still stopping. What is doing? No, it's still stopping. So you have to make sure that you wait, be patient. So if you use this thing in a proper way, it will be zero charge. You can use at least 1 year without any trouble. You can build as many machines as you want. But only one thing you have to memorize, that after you complete your lab, it has to be stopped. Oh, it's still stopping. Not sure why. Reload. So yeah, normally it doesn't take that much time. Anyway, we'll wait. Yeah, so it will be stop, and then eventually if I stop, then I can, when it is done, I can, let's say I do not need this machine. I click the checkbox, and there is something called terminate instance. If I terminate instance, click terminate, this machine will be gone. And because in my case, I think I already getting charged from them, so that's why I just killing the machine. Yes, okay, and this is terminated. Look, this is terminated, and now if I refresh, in after a few minutes later, it will be gone from here. Okay, so perfect. I think this is all about. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, everyone. I just stopped the recording.